It was our pleasure to talk with one of the most successful band coaches in Los Angeles, Bob Eisenhart of Van Nuys High School. We asked him to share with us his passion for music and the successful strategies that have led to more than 8 championships.
Well, I was very young when I decided that I was basically going to be in music for the rest of my life. I mean, it was just something that captured me. It was being in a musical community, in a musical ensemble, was a place of grounding. It was a place of safety. It was a place of exploration and imagination. And so I had to stay. And I knew very, very young that I was going to stay in that community. And then as I grew, it just became more and more obvious that it was going to be as a role teaching in that space. Well, a lot of it is leaning into the future, setting it up so that when you have a problem right now, that problem might not be solvable right now. But I am absolutely going to make sure that I'm not going to have to deal with that problem next semester or deal with that problem next year. So it's learning from a problem now. It could be a budget problem. It could be getting a kid into a particular class. It could be miscommunication with a parent. A kid takes some information home and miscommunicates that to a parent, and maybe as the adult, I could have communicated it in a better way or set up that communication in a better way. I am not afraid to fail. I'm just going to go for it. If I have an idea, I'm going to work it through. And if it does not succeed, I'm going to continue working it until I find the recipe that's going to make it work. So once again, I'm just not afraid to fail. I look at failure as an opportunity to learn something more about how to get my inspiration or my own imagination out into space, out into the world and communicate with other people. When I want to communicate something, and as an artist, I'm trying to inspire my students and empower my students to communicate through art, to find their voice in their art. I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm going to role model that by trying to use my art of music to communicate unique and inspiring things. And I want them to do the same thing, and I take chances all the time. They see me take chances. My students see me make a fool out of myself. And not being afraid to take those chances, I think, is the most important thing.
I like that.
It takes about a year. In fact, we're beginning to discuss next year's competition show with the marching band now with the students. We begin the discussion with the students. The students bring in ideas. We want to try this. We want to try this. What about this? And then we'll have kind of an open discussion for a couple of months. We'll bring in different things, different kinds of music to listen to. And then especially the juniors and seniors have a great deal of influence on it. And so I'll have some meetings with the juniors and seniors particularly. And they kind of want to go in a particular direction. They're inspired by something, and then I'll begin writing, and then we'll start experimenting with it, and then the visual design happens after the music. The music comes first, and the visual design happens after. As a music composer, I think I'm also well suited to write drill, field formations. And so the field formations are directly related to the composition of the music. Sometimes the composition of the music is changed to fit the drill. Sometimes the drill is changed to fit the composition of the music. And so the whole project is composed from the ground up, music and drill at the same time. About 4 years ago, I took a big chance because I thought a lot of my students might not be willing to go in this direction. I hired a strength coach. In August and September of every year, we do about 6 hours of physical training each week. In October and November, because of the demands of the schedule, we move it down to about 3 hours a week of physical training. Each session starts out with about 20 minutes to 30 minutes of stretch and light cardio. Then we work into straight strength training. I mean, if you walked out on the field, you would see it would look like a soccer team or a baseball team out there doing strength training. They're doing crunches and push-ups and, I mean, the whole deal. Oh, I got a strength coach that's doing it. So, and she's just pushing these kids. And then after 45 minutes to an hour of strength training, short break, we come back out and we do cardio reps. Bam, bam, bam for 45 minutes to an hour. And at first, I thought I'd have some kids that are like, I didn't want to do this. This is not why I joined band. But after 2 or 3 years of it, especially in East LA City College Stadium, which is a phenomenal stadium for this activity, we got a stronger sound. We have more endurance. Our field show is from beginning to end much more. I mean, there's much more strength being demonstrated by the students. And so the environment within the district, the dialogue that was happening a few years ago pushed me to rethink what was going on with our strength development within our program. Our fundraising, we're always fundraising to raise money, but I figured, you know what, if we're going to spend money on a color guard, drill team coach, spend money on a drum coach, I'm going to set aside some money to hire somebody to come in and do strength training. And it has probably been the most significant developmental decision that I've made in the last 10 years.
Beautiful.
But the most important component actually is the teaching component, because I'm looking at the student skills, and so there's a trajectory. Where are the student skills going to be in December? How is the music going to collaborate with the development of that skill? And sometimes I miss the mark. Sometimes the music is way too hard, and sometimes the music is not challenging enough. So the idea is that, you know, come the end of the season, the student skills, the drill design, and the music composition all mesh so that the students have been completely maxed out. Completely, so that when they step off that field, they know that they've been challenged, you know, emotionally and physically, to put out the best possible performance for an audience.